Well, it's so
Yeah.
great to meet you. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
So many things to talk to you about. So the new album, Electric Cowboy, Born in the Carolina Mud, a
Yeah.
fantastic album. So many great songs on there. It was hard to choose which ones to play on that
Yeah.
station. We settled on Surprise and How Do You Feel?
Okay, cool. Cool.
How do you feel, man? The funk on that is at 11. That's a great song.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
When did you put that record together? It's probably been a minute, right?
It's probably been so. I mean, it's funny because I get all these sometimes like Facebook or like iPhone, memories from your phone, photos and stuff you took, and I'm like, I think it was like, I guess the process was almost like a year and a half ago, probably.
Yeah.
Because it was done done through the pandemic, So that's when it was done. So it was like the last bit of the pandemic, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, yeah, about a year and a half, almost close to 2 years. The process of it, now it's finally came out, this past year.
Right. And you are originally from Raleigh, right? Born and raised?
Oh yeah, I'm born and raised here, baby.
Yeah.
Tobacco
And then,
Road.
there you go. And then you were in Charlotte in college. And did I read right? You studied animation or art?
Illustration. Yeah,
Sorry,
I
illustration.
started out at graphic design, and I realized that was too boring and too corporate. So I went to illustration because I was able to. The professor in that program he allowed you to express yourself a lot more. So I was always about like self-expression, man, being an artist and growing up, being around music, just being creative. I didn't want to be in a program that I was kind of restricted.
Yeah.
So like being in an illustration program allowed me to express myself as well as many other artists as well too. So
When did you start making music?
I mean, it's so funny when people ask me this question, like friends ask me, people ask, because like it started, I never thought I was going to be in the music, man. I was always somebody that was in the type of like creative direction, designing like clothes or shoes and like houses and things of that nature. Like, I started out writing poetry. Poetry was something I used to do like all the time. I was one of those dudes in the bathroom in high school lunch breaks, beatboxing, freestyle on the cafeteria table, that type of stuff. We were always doing that stuff, causing the records, but I never thought, down the road I'd be, making music. I mean, it kind of just happened when I was like, late high school, freshman in high college, and I was just like making beats. That's what I was doing. I was making beats. I was like, I want to make beats. And, I was freestyling with a couple of homies and, over like cool, like hip hop productions and stuff like that. I never thought I was going to get in like, obviously, be a frontman of a band and of my own band and, do some things that was kind of crossover like with funk. But, I was always shy. I never liked being in front of people. I didn't never like being in front of. I mean, that scared me. I was like, I want to be a songwriter, producer. Let me be behind the scenes. And
wait a second. You were scared, but you just told me you were standing on tables in high school.
We're not standing on tables. We were beatboxing.
Beatboxing. Okay.
Beatboxing. Right. In this kind of freestyle like type of stuff. But and then So when I got to college, I was doing that for like rappers, making beats for rappers. I got kind of decent at it, man. And it got to a point when I was unable to, like, I guess, polish it because my laptop got stolen. So,
worst.
Yeah. So I had to like, find a different outlet. And that's when I got into like hardcore punk, that like I started going to those shows and like being around those kids and those people got different bands and be able to like, express myself in that way. And then those filtered out. And then I, started to become a solo artist. And that took years of like locking myself in, the bedroom, writing songs, studying pop music, studying rap music, studying pop music, studying funk music, so R&B music, and just listening to records and writing songs and, writing a lot of terrible songs and writing some good songs in the process. Just learning, my dad always told me, you got to be able to listen to all types of music to be the best or to be great. You got to listen to all types of music and to study, not just listen to dance, but to study, read the liner notes, like listen to the musicianship, listen to like what they're saying, listen to the melodies and things of that nature. And, that was something that, I still do to this day, and it kind of just, it helped propel me, to this point now to be able to, create my own type of funk music, modern funk, so.
Yeah, and your dad was a DJ, so you must have been around music your
Same
entire
as you, like,
life.
like a
Yeah,
program director, at Shaw University,
yeah,
WSHA. He was there and he taught communications, so he was doing that. So like always bringing records home to me and my sister where we could listen to like promo CDs and
oh
stuff.
yeah,
Like
oh yeah, it's
always
true.
playing stuff. Saturday mornings he'll like be cleaning the house, he'd be playing like reggae music or like African music or jazz music and all that type of stuff, funk and soul. So, or had BET or VH1 MTV in the background too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
so it
No,
was, it was
that's
just like a whole vibe going on, Saturday morning.
you just described my house right there. That's exactly what I do. Hey, you got to check this out. Check this out. And what's interesting too to me is that my son, who's 19, did the same thing. He's been making beats since high school.
See, that's dope.
And he wants to be the behind the scenes guy, and he's
Yeah.
putting an album out, and it's really interesting to that's been actually an education for me for getting the artist perspective, because I didn't know, like, today you've got so much control over your music and where it goes and how you can distribute it. It's been fascinating to learn about.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Let's talk about punk and funk, because I watched an interview with AV Club that you did in Hawaii, and you talked about
that's way.
I know, but you said something so interesting to me, and it was about the similarities between punk music and funk music. So sonically, they don't sound the same, but the energy is the same. Talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of, the energy for me, like obviously, being around the punk scene, hardcore scene, seeing those guys, those frontmen on stage, it's that energy, right? It's about the energy, you know what I'm saying? And like, obviously what they're putting down and going to those shows, causing a mass ruckus, people just kind of like living free and it's kind of embracing in that music. And then obviously funk music, when I kind of go back and study a lot of funk, music back in the day, but kind of before punk came and kind of rock and roll. Well, but in the same era, rock and roll cycle, that was kind of like funk music was kind of like the rebellious music for like Black kids, like they were like playing funk music in their garage, right? Like starting all these different bands and like, kind of was like, in these, whether the projects, whether the suburbs or whatever, like these kids, that's what they're doing. They were starting funk bands and bringing that same energy, that rebellious type, that attitude, you know what I'm saying, to the music, to the creativity. And that's why I've always kind of leaned like this towards punk funk, is it's kind of like meshing those attitudes, not always the sounds, it's just the attitude, right? It's the vibe, you know what I'm saying? It's the lifestyle, and they're very, very, very similar in that. And obviously when I think about music today, like punk music and funk music are almost kind of very, very similar. Well, I think probably punk is probably more popular than funk music, but I guess when I look at like the indie artists, they're kind of very, very same, because you have like hip hop, you have rap, you have country, outlaw music, and then you have punk and funk, and then obviously you have soul above that, and then you have punk and funk. They're kind of like the outcasts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, people love them. People love it if people like go to the show, but they're not obviously not as popular as it's like the country music that's hot right now, like the rap, trap, and all that type of stuff, like the pop music top 40, but they're still good, you know what I'm saying? They're still great, and they kind of have like their own little like niche of like people that follow them, so.
Yeah. What does a Boulevards concert look like? I mean, you're going to be performing at that music fest on Friday. It's going to literally and metaphorically, I hope. So you're going to be on stage.
It's going to be like what it is today. Probably.
Yeah, probably. What are we going to get? How big is the band?
So I try to keep it simple, man. When I got these guys, I was always looking at different videos of like from some of my favorite soul R&B acts before they kind of like got big and popular, right? Curtis Mayfield kept it very, very simple.
Yeah.
Just like guitar, bass, drums. I mean, he had a couple of percussion and stuff like that. Rick James was the same way. Prince, when he started out, was the same. So I'm just keeping it very, very simple. Drummer, bass, guitar, and just myself, man. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. Those guys bring a lot of energy. The vibe is fun on stage. You got to go wait to see. I mean, I can only say so much, but it's gonna be. I feel like I'm a very charismatic, front man, and I know how to perform, and and I think it's gonna be fun. And like the guys that tour with me, they know how to perform as well too, man. And I'll take this band against any other band on the road out here, man. These guys are great. So
have you done a show on center field before?
Never on center field before, which is going to be interesting. I don't know what to expect. This
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's going to be in the Durham Bulls stadium. I've never been to a Durham Bulls game, and I'm going to the
Oh,
stadium. Crazy.
yeah.
So, like, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see how it is. And, you know, I think I go in afternoon around 6 or 7. So,
Yeah,
I think it's going to be interesting.
you're right after Reese Palmer on that Friday afternoon.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time. That Music Fest, June 24th and 25th at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, 25 North Carolina artists, including Boulevards.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
cannot wait to see you out there.
Thank you so much for having me. Sorry about the whole schedule, conflicting everything, but thank you for having me and making the time.
No problem. Great to meet you. We'll see you out there.
Yeah, brother. Thank you.